Hi, I'm Hazel Brooks. Last Thursday, my wife, Sarah, died in a car accident, and when I called my parents, sobbing, they chose my cousin's wedding over our grief, a betrayal that deepened when they tried to seize half of Sarah's $5 million fortune. The agony of Sarah's death clings to me like a relentless shadow, a weight that crushes my chest each time I pass her empty art studio in our Minneapolis home. I'm 52, mother to our 9-year-old daughter, Ellie, and we're navigating a world shattered without Sarah's vibrant spirit. That night, as Ellie clung to me, her tears soaking my shirt, I called my parents, Thomas and Linda, desperate for their comfort, only to hear Mom's distracted voice amid wedding music. "We're at Michael's wedding. Hazel." Can this wait until tomorrow? The words sliced through my grief, a wound I never expected from the family I'd trusted for decades, setting the stage for a confrontation that would redefine our bonds. Our Craftsman, home in Linden Hills, with its stained glass windows and blooming lilacs, was Sarah's sanctuary, where we built 20 years of love. I stood in the kitchen, staring at a shattered vase I'd dropped when the police called, its fragments mirroring my broken heart. Sarah and I met at the University of Minnesota, where I was a sociology major, and she, an art history student, helped me through statistics, her vibrant explanations lighting up my world. Her infectious laugh, her green eyes that sparkled when she painted, her boundless creativity, they were my home. We married at 30, defying skeptics who questioned our partnership. "You're my muse," she'd say, and I believed her, our life a canvas of shared dreams. Sarah's career as an art curator at the Walker Art Center made her a beloved figure, her passion for emerging artists inspiring countless exhibitions. She didn't just curate art, she nurtured souls, her empathy legendary. We adopted Ellie at 5 a joy after years of infertility, and Sarah was her rock, teaching her to paint, reading her fairy tales, her voice a lullaby through Ellie's fears. That Thursday, Sarah was driving to a gallery opening when a drunk driver hit her car. She died instantly, the police said, at 3:42 p. Isham. And her green eyes closing forever. I couldn't fathom it, touching her hand at the morgue, waiting for her laugh to break the silence, but the stillness was final, my heart breaking under a future without her. The hours blurred paperwork, funeral plans, questions I couldn't answer, cremation or burial service type favorite dress, each choice felt like erasing Sarah. Telling Ellie was the hardest. In her room, clutching her paintbrushes, she sensed my anguish. "Where's Mom? She promised to paint with me." I knelt, tears falling. "Ellie, Mom was in a car accident. She died today." Her confusion, "Can't they fix her?" broke me. When I shook my head, she wailed, collapsing into my arms. "I want Mom," she sobbed, and I held her, our grief a shared storm. That night, with Ellie asleep clutching Sarah's scarf, I broke down in the bathroom. Grief, a physical ache, stealing my breath. I needed my parents, whose 48-year marriage had weathered losses. I called, hearing wedding noise laughter, clinking glasses. "Hazel, we're at Michael's wedding," Mom said. "Sarah died," I choked out. "Car accident." "She's gone." A pause, muffled voices, then Mom's distracted tone. "Are you sure that's awful?" "We're in the middle. Can you manage tonight? We'll come tomorrow." I insisted. "She's gone." I saw her. Dad took the phone. Was her estate updated? "Call the lawyer tomorrow." Their dismissal, prioritizing Michael's wedding, was a second death, my diary noting their absence, my wound. The Minneapolis spring mocked my grief, my parents' choice of Michael's wedding over Sarah's funeral, a betrayal that deepened at the service, their indifference stark against others' genuine sorrow. That first night, Ellie's nightmares woke her cries for Mom echoing through our Linden Hills home. I lay beside her, stroking her hair, whispering stories of Sarah's love, how she'd cheer at her school plays, how she'd frame her watercolor paintings until she drifted off, clutching Sarah's scarf. Sleep evaded me, the bed's emptiness a cruel reminder, my body aching with grief's relentless weight. Friends texted Ellen. Sarah's colleague offered to help. Mark, my coworker, sent food. Lisa, a high school friend, called daily. Their compassion contrasted with my parents' silence, their only text a vague thinking of you. The 4 days before the funeral were a haze of unbearable tasks. Choosing an urn felt like betraying Sarah's vibrancy, its sleek design mocking her life. Selecting music, Joni Mitchell's Both Sides Now. Her favorite stirred memories of our late-night dances, her arms warm. I coordinated with funeral homes, answered questions about programs and speakers, each choice a step further from our shared life. My parents called once, their voices clipped. What time's the service? Formal attire. They didn't ask about Ellie, didn't offer help. Their detachment a fresh wound. Sarah's parents, Susan and Michael, were different, calling daily. Their grief raw, but their love steadfast, asking about Ellie's sleep, offering to manage logistics. Their support highlighted my parents' absence, my diary, noting their neglect, their love. The funeral, set for Monday, dawned bright, the Minneapolis sun mocking our loss. Ellie chose a green dress. Mom said I'd glow in green, and I braided her hair, Sarah's gentle touch guiding my hands. At the funeral home, we arrived early, greeting Sarah's colleagues, their suits heavy with tears. They shared stories, Sarah's mentorship, her passion for art, kneeling to tell Ellie how her mom bragged about her paintings, words she'd cherish. My parents and Michael were meant to arrive early, but a text came 20 minutes before traffic's bad, running late. They swept in as seats filled, Mom's perfume sharp, Dad adjusting his cufflinks, Michael in a suit fresh from his honeymoon. The traffic was awful, Mom said, hugging me briefly, and Michael had to wrap up wedding loose ends. Their excuse, as if Sarah's death was a minor disruption, burned. My diary noting their haste, my pain. During the service, their indifference was glaring. Mom dabbed dry eyes, a performance. Dad checked his watch. Michael texted, barely present. Sarah's colleagues wept openly, their grief mirroring mine, their stories of her kindness a lifeline. Sarah's sister, Anna, flew in from Seattle. Her museum job paused, her eyes hollow from a sleepless flight. She sat beside Ellie, holding her hand, their shared green eyes brimming, a quiet bond. The eulogy loomed, my legs trembling as I approached the podium, but Ellie's brave face in her green dress gave me strength. I spoke of Sarah's creativity, her terrible puns, her fierce love for Ellie, her obsession with real maple syrup. She put family first, I said, the irony sharp as I glanced at my parents, already gathering their coats, eager to escape. At the reception in our home, their detachment grew clearer. Mom and Michael sat in the living room, accepting condolences like they were the mourners, while I moved through the house, a ghost thanking guests, accepting casseroles I'd never eat. Sarah's colleagues' wives managed food. Ellen and Lisa tidied, their support a quiet strength. Susan shielded Ellie from overwhelming well-wishers. Michael organized cleanup, their love a balm where my parents failed. I overheard Dad by the drinks table. Talking to Uncle Charles Sarah was top tier. Her fortune must be huge, plus investments. Hazel's set. His callousness, reducing Sarah's death to a payout, made my stomach churn. I didn't confront him. Too drained. My focus on Ellie, who clung to Susan, her green dress a beacon of Sarah's love. My diary noted their greed, their absence. Sarah's fortune surfaced in a funeral director's mention, but I couldn't face it. Thomas, our lawyer friend, advised waiting. You and Ellie are secure. Sarah planned well. As guests left, Mom, Dad, and Michael made quick excuses traffic, meetings offering perfunctory hugs, no offer to stay. Anna, Susan, and Michael remained, Susan preparing the guest room, Michael the sofa. We're here, Susan said, her hug fierce, a promise my parents never made. That night, Ellie asleep beside me, I felt the void of their love. Memories of childhood, inequities recitals skipped for Michael's games, birthdays where Michael's gifts outshone mine, revealing a pattern of neglect now laid bare. Friends' support Ellen's casseroles, Mark's calls filled the gap, but my parents' betrayal, choosing Michael's wedding over our grief, was a wound that festered, my diary noting their coldness, my resolve. The Minneapolis summer sweltered as my parents' betrayal deepened, their dismissal of our grief for Michael's wedding a prelude to their audacious demand for half of Sarah's $2.5 million fortune, a greed that would unravel at a family confrontation. 2 weeks after the funeral, I was grappling with insurance forms and Ellie's grief counseling when the doorbell rang. Ellie was at school, her teacher's updates a lifeline. Through the peephole, I saw Thomas and Linda, Dad in a crisp polo, Mom adjusting her earrings. Their unannounced visit, after weeks of silence save for vague texts, stirred unease. We thought we'd check in, Mom said, sweeping in. Ellie's at school. Good, we can talk openly. Her tone, laced with intent, raised my guard, but grief dulled my instincts, and I let them in, my diary noting their intrusion, my dread. I made coffee, slipping into hostess mode, though their presence felt like a violation. They settled in the living room, Dad eyeing Sarah's latest painting, a gift for Ellie. Nice artwork, he said, his casual tone jarring against my raw grief. Sarah painted it for Ellie, I said, the past tense, a stab. After stilted small talk, Ellie's art class, Mom's garden club. Dad cleared his throat, his serious matters voice emerging. Hazel, we need to discuss your situation. My situation, I echoed, the word echoing their funeral detachment. Your financial situation, Mom clarified, glancing at Dad. Now that you're adjusting without Sarah. Their implication hit slowly, disbelief rising as I grasped their intent. Are you asking for money, I said, voice flat, the question surreal. Dad leaned forward. Undeterred given Sarah's success and fortune, you're in a position to help family. We're proposing 50% $1, $25 million to secure our retirement and support Michael's new business, leaving plenty for you and Ellie. Mom nodded, her embarrassment fleeting. We're aging, costs rising. It's practical. The audacity stole my breath. Sarah's body wasn't cold, Ellie's grief a daily battle, yet they saw her death as a windfall. You want $1, $25 million meant for Ellie's future, I said, voice trembling. The daughter you ignored when I called, sobbing, because Michael's wedding was more important. Mom flinched, but Dad pressed on. We've apologized for that timing. We raised you, paid for college, your condo. It's fair. You paid half what you gave Michael for his MBA he never used, I snapped, rage surfacing. Sarah died, and you're treating it like I hit the jackpot. Dad's face hardened. Sarah knew driving in that storm was risky. She should have been careful. Now, we're discussing how her assets help family. Blaming Sarah for her death, demanding her legacy, ignited a fire in me. Grief's fog lifted, replaced by clarity. Get out, I said, voice low, shaking. Hazel, be reasonable, Mom began. "Get out!" I screamed, standing, fury propelling me. "How dare you ask for Sarah's money? How dare you blame her? She was worth more than you'll ever be, and you couldn't comfort your daughter when she was breaking." They stared, shocked I'd always been the compliant daughter, unlike Michael's demands. "We deserve respect," Dad said, rising stiffly. "Respect is earned," I shot back, trembling. "You've earned nothing but shame. Leave before Ellie hears what her grandparents are." They left, Mom muttering about ingratitude, Dad about reconsidering our relationship. I sank to the floor, rage and hurt colliding, the betrayal a physical weight. Picking Ellie up from school, her quiet question, "Did Grandma and Grandpa bring something?" broke me. She'd seen their car, her hope a dagger. "They came to talk grown-up things," I said, shielding her. "Did they ask about Mom's money?" she asked, perceptive. "I heard Grandpa at the funeral saying we'd get lots because Mom died." Her words, echoing Dad's greed, sickened me. "Money doesn't replace Mom," I said, voice cracking. She nodded. I'd give it all to have her back. My diary noted their greed, her heart. I called Anna in Seattle, recounting their demand. $1. $25 million, she roared. Sarah would be furious. "She planned for you and Ellie." She urged me to see Thomas, our lawyer, to protect the estate. Thomas confirmed the fortune's strength. I was sole beneficiary, with a trust for Ellie's education, untouchable until 25. "They have no claim," he said. Contesting would fail. Relief mixed with dread. My parents' texts escalated. Mom's family comes first. Dads discuss this like adults. Michael's, "You're selfish. They deserve better." Their hypocrisy, after skipping Sarah's funeral, burned. I blocked their numbers, but their persistence grew. Mom even appearing at Ellie's school, stopped by staff I'd warned. Thomas sent a legal letter, halting direct pressure, but their betrayal lingered, my diary noting their demands, my resolve. The Minneapolis heat mirrored the tension as I prepared for a family meeting at my parents' Edina home. Their demand for $1, $25 million of Sarah's $2, $5 million fortune, a betrayal that fueled my anger. But Ellie's courageous act would expose their greed in a way I never anticipated. 3 months after their audacious visit, their texts turned relentless. Dad demanding a Sunday meeting at 2 pi. Mom guilting. Michael accusing me of selfishness. I'd blocked their numbers after Mom tried confronting Ellie at school, a violation Thomas countered with a legal warning. But Dad's voicemail, "Be there, bring Ellie," forced a choice. "Do we have to go?" Ellie asked, her reluctance echoing Sarah's protective spirit. "We should face this," I said, trusting her strength. She clutched a folded drawing, her secret message from me and Mom sparking curiosity, my diary noting their greed, her plan. Sarah's letter, found in her files, had armed me. Written months before her death, it revealed her meticulous planning. "Everything goes to you, with provisions for Ellie's education. Don't let your father access Ellie's trust. He's asked me for money twice." Her foresight, shielding us from my parents' greed, was a final gift. Thomas confirmed the trust's security, advising I bring the letter to the meeting, a shield against manipulation. Ellie's determination, mirroring Sarah's resolve, fueled my confidence. Her something for Sunday, a mystery I trusted. My diary noting their betrayal. Her courage. Driving to my parents' home, where childhood memories now felt tainted, I saw cars of aunts and uncles. Thomas and Linda had staged an audience, likely to pressure me. Ellie held her drawing, her face set. "Ready?" I asked. She nodded. "I'm ready, Mom." The living room was a tribunal. Dad in his armchair, Mom poised, Michael on his phone, Aunt Susan, Uncle Charles. and Dad's brother Frank with his wife Ellen watching. "Thank you for coming," Dad said, judicial. "I want Ellie here," I said, keeping her close. "This concerns her future." Mom frowned. "This isn't for children." "If it's not for her, it's not for you," I countered, voice steady. Dad launched in, "We've supported you college, your condo." Given the $5 million windfall from Sarah's passing, it's fair you help family. We propose 50% $1, $25 million for our retirement, plus $250,000 for Michael's new gallery. He handed me a document detailing amounts likely via Uncle Charles's financial ties. Michael smirked, as if Sarah's death justified his failures. "You want $1. $5 million of Ellie's security," I said, incredulous. "Family takes care of family," Mom insisted. "You ignored us when Sarah died," I shot back, "because Michael's wedding mattered more." Silence fell, Aunt Susan shifting uncomfortably. "We apologize for that timing," Dad said, patronizing. "We had guests." "You chose them over us," I said. Michael scoffed. "You're rich now, while we struggle. Mom and Dad sacrificed for you." "What about Ellie's future?" I demanded. "Sarah died to secure her, not your gallery." Dad stood, face red. "We raised you." "You owe us respect." "Respect is earned," I said, trembling. "You've shown greed, not care." Uncle Frank looked away, Ellen glaring at Dad. Into the silence, Ellie stepped forward, drawing in hand. "I have something to say," she declared, voice clear, startling all. Mom's condescending smile faltered, "Sweetie. Adults are talking." Ellie stood firm. "This is about Mom and what she wanted. Mom taught me to believe people when they show who they are," she said, trembling but resolute. "You didn't come when she died, didn't help Mom cry, didn't ask if I was okay. You came for money." Her words, raw and true, and hit harder than mine. Mom's face crumpled. Dad faltered. Michael stared, stunned. Ellie unfolded her drawing, titled, "What You Owe Us." It depicted a family at a wedding while Ellie and I cried alone, with captions, "Being there when Mom died, $0 not done. Helping Mom when sad $0 not done. Hugging me when I cried $0 not done. Being real family priceless, not paid." She handed it to Dad. "This is what you earned." Silence enveloped the room. Dad's hands shaking, Mom crying, Michael frozen. "We're done," I said, taking Ellie's hand. "Don't contact us without genuine change." We left, their shock trailing us, my diary noting their greed, her truth. The Minneapolis autumn unfolded with fragile hope as Ellie and I rebuilt our lives without Sarah. Her drawing at the family meeting, a turning point that exposed my parents' greed and opened a cautious path to redemption, while her $5 million legacy anchored our future. Leaving that Edina living room, Ellie's courage echoing Sarah's values freed us from toxic ties. In the car, I hugged her tightly. "You were so brave, Ellie. Mom would be so proud." She nodded, her green eyes resolute. She said, "Stand up for what's right, even when it's hard." Her wisdom, at 9, humbled me, a testament to Sarah's love, my diary noting their betrayal, her strength. We ignored my parents' frantic calls and texts, their anger and apologies ringing hollow. Thomas monitored for legal moves, but Sarah's fortune naming me beneficiary, with Ellie's trust secure until 25 was untouchable. Anna, Sarah's sister, arrived from Seattle, her surprise visit a balm. Over dinner, Ellie recounted her drawing, Anna grinning, pure Sarah creative with a guilt trip. She warned your parents won't quit easily. I nodded. They won't touch Ellie's future. It's Sarah's wish. Anna's move to Minneapolis curating at the Minneapolis Institute of Art cemented her role as Ellie's aunt. Her painting sessions and stories keeping Sarah's spirit alive. My diary noting her presence, our anchor. Sarah's parents, Susan and Michael, were steadfast, calling Ellie, sending care packages, visiting to bake her favorite lemon bars or visit the sculpture garden. Their love, unlike my parents' absence, filled our home with warmth. Aunt Ellen, Uncle Frank's wife, became an ally, revealing she'd attended the meeting expecting a memorial fund, not a money grab. We were horrified. She said over coffee, "They've always favored Michael." Her honesty and support from cousins like Laura, Michael's daughter, who condemned my parents' actions, eased the isolation. My diary noting their support, my clarity. 6 months after Sarah's death, on our 22nd anniversary, a handwritten letter from my parents arrived with an art kit for Ellie, reflecting her interests, a rare thoughtful gesture. We've reflected on the pain we caused, they wrote, listing specific wrongs, skipping the funeral, demanding money without excuses or demands. We hope to show change through actions. I shared it with Anna, wary but open. On Ellie's 10th birthday, we met them at her favorite ice cream shop. Boundaries, clear 15 minutes, supervised. They focused on Ellie, asking about school, avoiding past conflicts, their effort tentative but genuine. My diary noting their attempt, our caution. A year later, on Sarah's death anniversary, I invited them to a memorial, a test of their commitment. They came, subdued, bringing a photo album of Sarah, staying in the background, honoring her without centering themselves. Mom admitted to therapy, exploring their failures. It wasn't full trust, but a start. My diary noting their change, our hope. Michael took longer, his initial anger, vile social media posts fading after a year. At a coffee meeting, he confessed, "I was jealous of your strength, your security. I'm working on it." It opened a door, not forgiveness, but possibility. My diary noting his honesty, our maybe. I founded an art scholarship in Sarah's name, its work with underserved communities echoing her passion for nurturing creativity. It gave me purpose, connecting me to her values, my diary noting her legacy, my mission. On the 2nd anniversary, Ellie and I visited her favorite Lake Harriet spot, tossing stones as she taught her. "I think my drawing helped Grandma and Grandpa," Ellie said, thoughtful. "They listen now, ask about me." Her compassion, Sarah's echo, moved me. "She'd be proud," I said, arm around her. Grief lingers, a quiet ache, but it no longer defines us. Ellie laughs again. Her art class is joyful. Anna, Susan, Michael, and allies Ellen. Susan form our true family, built on love, not obligation. Sarah's $2, 5 million legacy. Her trust, her values guides us, untouched except for Ellie's education and our needs. If family betrayed you in grief, share below. Subscribe for stories of resilience. We honor Sarah by living kindly, strongly, her love our compass in a world remade, my diary noting their loss, our redemption.